And you are here because you want to be a fucking ninja master in relationship.
I'm gonna tell you about a woman whose heart is sunshine, whose body burned hot. I'm gonna tell you about a woman who's cold as tundra with some frozen eyes. I can tell by the way she moves.
Welcome to the C-Note Show, everyone. Brought to you by Great Men Move Mountains. It's 11:02 here, Thursday, July 2nd, 2020. And you are here because you want to be a fucking ninja master in relationship. Either she's separated right now, or she said, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Or you're very confused by how the lights in her office building, as Steve Horstman would say, the lights in her office building have been slowly turning off over time. And it's all dark. Now it's all dark. And you're worried, oh, fuck, I probably am behind the eight ball now. And by the way, you're right. If all the lights have gone out at this point, the time is ticking and you don't even know it. And I found myself in that place in 2015. And I wish I would have had a group like this every single day to join. I found a local men's group that met every 2 weeks. Steve Horstman and Good Guys to Great Men, which you guys know. I'm an affiliate with them, and we're all a huge tribe. So I love to talk about Steve, his amazing book, and his great work. I just finished reading his book for the third time, Straight Talk Tools. So this show, every day we bring, because we want to bring heart into the tribe of men. We want to bring back knowledge of how to be an amazing man in modern relationship, how to know the 3 forms of confidence that we talk about, how to understand what to do when your shit hits the fan. And the number one thing is to take it to the men. Take it to the men and get some perspective and some feedback. And so the only woman allowed on this show, the only woman allowed in our private Facebook forum is my partner in crime, my fiance, Miss Cynthia Cruz. She's a professional in this field as well. We're both professional coaches and had our own private practice for 4 years at this point. Hello, Cynthia. Thanks for being on our show again. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you always for introducing me, Jeff, and inviting me into this group. I have to tell you, every time I go on to the forum, every time I sit here, it's like experiencing something very extraordinary, very sacred. And the fact that I get to peek behind the curtain of what it's like in your world is something that is the most amazing gift. And thank you for letting me participate in this space with you. I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing right now.
Oh, thank you, Cynthia. And you bring us into the world of femininity and the solid healing feminine as well. That's why we love to have you on the show, to give us your perspective, how it feels like in your body as a woman. And you give us feedback and heal. I would have wished to have a healing feminine presence like yourself back when I was going through shit in the past. And I know the men honor you so much, and they say so every single day in our private Facebook group. So thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate it. Our theme of this week is why anger is killing your sex life. And we're going to talk more about sex today. We're going to talk about more how to be spiritually connected to sexuality and what that means, how we can bring that more into our daily practice. You are a man starting to rise up in your own confidence and mojo through this work, through understanding, again, the forms of confidence, because here we do our daily work. This is where we do our daily work on the C-Note Show. So we always start with something from the forum, and a man reached out to me directly actually this morning, and I asked him to go ahead and post it on the forum. He did that, which is phenomenal, and I want to open this up today, guys, and I want everyone here, gentlemen, to give some feedback to this man, because this particular question, I don't think there's one right answer, right? So I'd love for you guys to support him and jump in and talk with us about this question on and off throughout our show today. So here's our question. We're supposed to be doing a family trip to the in-laws today through next week. I was down to go, and we were going down as a family. Now my son has a fever and my wife is really anxious. So I asked about it this morning, and she commented that she needs to be around other people. So she doesn't want to cancel. She wants to be around other people. Then she said, I'm stuck with you. I just said, I'm sorry you feel this way. It made me think about myself. Yes, I want to be around my kids on my birthday. So tomorrow, Saturday, or 2 days from today, Saturday is this gentleman's birthday. I want to be around my kids on my birthday. I also want to be around people that love me too, not in my wife's circle so she can be comfortable because she has other people to hang with and me there to co-parent. So this gentleman, his wife, as we've talked about on this show this week and last, his wife right now is in fuck you mode, and she's been insulting him directly to his face and on, right? He's in a really tough spot. this gentleman has owned that he's messed up in the past, and his wife is in like blatant fuck you to his face mode, insulting him, things like this. And so right now he's wondering, well, it's going to be my birthday. I don't want to come off as reactionary to her comments. However, her comments just opened up a reality that I've never explored. It's my birthday and I'll spend it with whomever I like. At this point, I don't really care if she's involved, my kids, my parents, and my friends. It's really last minute now. So I just don't know how to proceed. Is it time to be selfish? I feel stuck like her now. I'm committed to something that isn't the best for me. The virus situation doesn't really help either. So this gentleman is saying, she's just blatantly telling him she doesn't want to be around him, and it's going to be his birthday. They're going to see family. And she says, I don't care that my son has a fever. Our son has a fever. I just want to go be around other people because otherwise I'm stuck with you. And so this gentleman is asking, should he go to the family like planned this weekend? His son has a fever. Should he basically be the co-parent? It sounds like he doesn't think he's going to have any fun this weekend. And so I want you guys to think about that. We're going to open it up. This man is on the show. I don't want to out him right yet. He'll probably come on and say hi later in the show, but I'd love to get some feedback a little bit later in the show. Okay. We're going to dive into the pool. We're going to get vulnerable. We're going to share our shit. And then we're going to bounce off the bottom of the pool with a perspective and a plan in the world. What's our adventure? What's our battle out in the world? What should we do? So gentlemen, before I get into the rest of the show and before we get on a roll like we always do, Cynthia and I always do, I would love for you to open up your mic and give this man for our opening post some feedback. All right. So they're supposed to go to the in-laws. The son is sick. This man's birthday is Saturday. And he's saying he doesn't want to come off as reactionary, but his wife has really been in like, fuck you straight to his face at this point for quite a while now. And her comments opened him up, and his work on this show has opened him up to realize, well, it's my birthday and maybe I need to think about what my needs are. And so at this point, I don't really care if she's involved, my kids, my parents, and my friends. I'm assuming, obviously, this man is wanting to be a great father and wanting to be there for his family. However, is he there just to kind of be the babysitter and go to the in-laws for this weekend during the holiday weekend and his birthday? So I'm going to pause right now. I'd love for you to open up your mic. Anyone who's on right now, Rob, Rueben, Patrick, Randy, John, Kent, Jason, and Harry, and Hans, and Brett, and Andy. You guys are fantastic. And Andy number 2, if that's really a second Andy on here. Love you guys being on here. I'm going to just go ahead and let you open up your mic. Please jump in and give this man some feedback. Yeah, Jason, go for it.
Hey, so a couple things struck me here. I'm wondering about his response to her little mini storm there. I'm stuck with you. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I honor the ability to stay calm in a situation like that when it's a real personal attack. What I would ask is that how you really feel, though? I think it's perfectly understandable when your birthday is coming up, and that's a time when we kind of let our guard down and let other people take care of us, or give us appreciation. I think it's perfectly understandable in that situation we start thinking, but what about me? And you add those two together, and I guess what I want to do is I want to honor the fact that he's still bringing that energy back into, okay, what can I learn about this? I'm going to leave it there for right now. I think that showed an amazing amount of strength and just invite him into really what was that response about.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks, Jason. I won't add to that. I'll just see who else wants to open their mic and give this man some feedback before I ask him to maybe come on. Yeah, Patrick, please.
I noted that the child has a fever and the wife is anxious. So Cynthia might be able to add to that. The wife's anxious about the fever. Who knows coronavirus? Who knows what's in the back of her head? So she's coming from a place of fear and she's pushing.
Yeah, that's a great point, Patrick. Thank you. Cynthia, what's your thoughts about that in this situation from what you know thus far and what Patrick just asked, please?
Well, thank you, Patrick. Yeah, that was actually something I had been thinking about. It feels like there's two separate energies going on right now. There's the, we're mom and dad and parent, and, you know, maybe this mom gets anxious anyways if her child is not feeling good. And we happen to be in a state in the world where that a fever can cause a lot greater anxiety. So it feels like if there's that energy, it's the we as parents. And then there's the separate, like, we as a couple, and how, you know, she's, you know, almost speaking with disdain with her husband and partner. And so the part of me that's kind of the like hell no part is like, you should be able to step away from, you know, people who are not loving and wanting to wrap their arms around you on a day like your birthday, and do something that is for you, like owning yourself, enjoying yourself, bringing, and even being able to then bring that back to the partnership with renewed energy, renewed sense of who I am and what I want. But like receiving more feedback on what that's like as a parent with a kiddo with a fever at a time of a pretty big virus going on, that's what I'm uncertain of.
Gosh, you, Cynthia, thank you for delineating the different energies. And again, let's do one more. I want one more man before I ask this gentleman to come on and give some feedback. One more man, open up your mic. And what do you think that he should do? What's your opinion? Yeah, Hans, go for it. Did you try to unmute yourself? Please.
Well, yeah, I think, she's speaking from a point of pain. I can tell you in my household, anything that comes across my wife, I'm the cushion for her pain. So, once I accept that and can breathe a little bit, yeah, he should make plans to have as much fun as he can, and even invite her, but do it from a place of peace, and just knowing that she's got some issues that she's kind of unleashing on him, I guess as a release, or maybe just unconsciously just out of frustration. I don't know. A lot of times I can boil down to a lot of the things she's reacting to is, yeah, that might be something I'm doing in the moment. What I'm doing is no big deal. What's affecting her is something bigger and not really about me. But I'm the steam. I'm the steam valve that she unleashes. So it might not be the issue at hand. He could be just the target of some other pain.
Yeah, I love that, Hans. That's fantastic. That's really aware and deep and unfolding. It feels like a blossoming of, as Cynthia says, what's underneath the anger or the pain, and then the bottom drawer of this man, and the bottom drawer of his wife, of that she may not be, right? We've talked about this, and I love that you jumped in about this, Hans, because I feel that way from my past as well. And he may not be the issue. It's actually everything else that's going on, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Love it. Yeah. Thanks for jumping in, man. I'm going to press pause on you. That's fantastic. So yeah, I'd like this man to open up his mic if he'd like and give some feedback on what was said already. Jason was saying that he honors you being aware of what's going on, and asked if that's really how you handled it. If you felt like you handled your wife's, I'm stuck with you. Jason asked basically if you felt like you handled that well, right? And Patrick pointed to the feminine of her being anxious and the child being sick and what other energies are there, right? And Hans said that it's probably about larger issues than you, or deeper issues than just you, and you might be the pincushion, as he said, for her pain right in this moment. So do you want to unmute yourself and come on the poster of this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go for it, bud. What are your thoughts? Go for it.
Thank you, everybody. I was doing a lot of thinking about it, and my point of view is not even towards her. Like, she said even worse things just in the last 2 weeks to me. That's fine. That's where she's at. She's just projecting her own emotions towards me. What I came to the point is I'm upset with myself. Like, I'm learning how right now to take care of myself and be my own person. And I found myself into another situation where I'm going somewhere on someone else and with someone else's friends or family on my birthday, and not even focused on what my needs are, and that's where I'm kind of just upset with myself. I should be able to be not selfish, but take care of myself better. Have plans for my birthday. Not have to worry about, going, down the shore with, my wife with, I can still go, but I can still have my own plans. And, that's where I've done that for the last 3 or 4 years. And what happened in the past is, okay, I get that. And I'm like, man, this is, fine, but this isn't what I'm looking for my birthday. I'm not hanging out with my friends, my family. And then on the other side, be like her birthday's a month later, then we do all these things, and that's just a Mr. Nice Guy just going along with it and not doing what I want and focusing on my wants. So I think that after more thinking about it, this is more about me and driving what I want more, and as opposed to before I used to sit there and think about what she cared about. What was I doing wrong to make her upset? Not that I don't care, but I'm more focused on what I want. If she doesn't like it, tough. This is me. Enjoy me or go away.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna jump back and give you a couple of thoughts. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good. I'm gonna press mute on you just for the sound. So of course, what I feel, Rueben, is you're waking up to honoring your own self. You're waking up to realize, holy shit, I've abdicated my own self. I've lost my own self. And so what do I want to do here for my own self? And of course, I'll play the other side of the coin. It's like, okay, well, yes, but what about your family, right? And so talk with me about that. How would you, let's say it's a perfect world, you're not worried about her being upset, you're not worried about ramifications from her, but how would you act in a way where you would do to what you want and still take care of your family, still take care of your kids over, let's say, because it's 4th of July weekend as well. So, right, it's complicated. So go ahead and unmute yourself and share with me about that.
So I would address it, and this is kind of what I did in the past. I would say, I'm going to go spend some time with my friends, and I'm going to go, and then I'll be coming back.
Okay. So is anything holding you back from that now?
Well, the coronavirus, that's the only thing, because I would definitely 100% go into it. Right now, I'm trying to respect the health of my in-laws because they're older. I don't want to go somewhere and get something and bring it back to the house. I'm trying to respect all that at the same time, but I need to, I guess what bothered me is I didn't even think about that. I said, coronavirus, okay, yeah. We're still in the same plan, and I just went along with it.
Gotcha.
And it was a great, I don't think I need to act on this. I thought I needed to do it. I don't think I need to. I think the act of awakening was enough for me, where I just experienced just stop doing this to yourself, buddy. You don't have to follow along. Just say, I'm doing this. Like right now, I told her I have a call. I'll be back in an hour.
Nice.
I need to take care of me, and that's my problem, Mr. Nice Guy issue. And I don't want to be the asshole. So I'm working on not being the asshole, but just working for what I want. And the more I can do with what I want, the less and less I feel any pressure from her side.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to press pause, Rueben. So good. So what you just said was there, I'm going to paraphrase you, that your awakening is that you didn't even think about your own self. Yeah, that was not even something that crossed your mind. And so how could you honor your own self? And I'll have you unmute yourself one more time here, Rueben, in a second. So with that new awakening, what do you want to do for your birthday? Considering the virus, considering your son, considering, everything that's going on, what do you want to do for yourself that will make you feel fulfilled, that you've at least honored yourself as well as your other responsibilities?
Well, what I'm going to do is I like to exercise, so I'm going to exercise and I'm going to take a long bike ride. I mean, a very, very long bike ride. And, come back and just have that time to myself.
Oh my
And
God.
then next year I can work on something else. The great part is I called 2 friends that I haven't spoken to in a long time, and we turn 40 next year. And my one friend's like, start saving up. We're going to do a all guys trip next year. And that just brought like a huge smile to my face. And I was just like, yeah, I'm down. And nothing's stopping me from going to that.
I love it. I love it, man. Hell yeah. Cynthia, give Rueben some feedback on his energy, please. That's so fantastic. Taking care of yourself. You know, there's some comments in the chat as well. Cynthia, if you'd honor those and give Rueben some feedback. Thank you.
Sure. Well, Rueben, thank you for sharing this. And Jason said, don't shit on yourself. That's a word that speaks from a place that sees the difference of who we are and where we want to be and judges that. And he also says, Rueben, you're awakening. Love that feeling. So proud of you. And Kent said, boom, take care of you. Love it. And if I was to be like in a masculine place, I'd be like, boom, yeah. But before that, as being more in a feminine place, when you ever said, yeah, I'm going to go take a long bike ride, that was unbelievably compelling because it was this very centered, certain, meditative place of you going off on this adventure. And anyone who's in your life who gets to have you back after you return from that kind of adventure is very lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. So good. The huge smile on your face, like your fucking grounded nature. I'm going to go on a long bike ride. Man, I'm going to take care of me and then come back and be with my kids and be with my own power in the world. Yeah, Rueben, so good. Awesome. Love it. So let's take a step forward in our show. I've curated 5 different clips today. You know, we always have tons of awesome stuff. I've got a quote from the book, The Way of the Superior Man by David Data I want to share today as well. And Cynthia and I want to get into speaking about, again, why anger is killing your sex life. How do you make sex and spiritual connection something that you bring in more of your daily life? How do you consider sex from a fulfilling, growing, empowering place, as we've started to talk about, and yesterday Jason spoke about as well. So I want to share something from The Way of the Superior Man. And I'd love Cynthia to share how when a man is in that place of almost spiritual connection with sex, it's not just about, like we talked about yesterday, guys, right? It's not about having dissociation or disembodiment with our sexual acts, just getting it out, just watching porn, just jerking off, just to get the energy through, just. It's more about owning that, and how does that actually make us more strong as a man? How does 1 + 1 = 1,000,000? That's what we want. So I'm going to share this quote, and I'd love to bounce over to you, Cynthia. So David Data, in his book, Way of the Superior Man, he released this in the late 90s. He's kind of the OG of speaking about masculine and feminine polarity. And this is from a section he entitled, Live with an Open Heart, Even if it Hurts. And David says, closing down in the midst of pain is a denial of a man's true nature. A superior man is free in feeling and action, even amidst great pain and hurt. If necessary, a man should live with a hurting heart rather than a closed one. He should learn to stay in the wound of pain and act with spontaneous skill and love, even from that place. So even amidst great pain and hurt, he should live with a hurting heart rather than a closed heart. So no matter how, and I have one-on-one clients that are on here right now. I have men that are going to be in our small group forum, our small group coaching that we're going to start here in the next 3 weeks. And also men in the forum that are living in a place of pain and hurt, amidst great pain and hurt right now. And part of our work here as men, gentlemen, is to step forward with an open heart in the world, right? Knowing who we are, having the 3 forms of confidence as we talk about in the show, and having an open heart rather than a closed one. So Cynthia, speak with us about that. Even if the man is coming from a place in his life of hurt, and he understands and he's aware of that, and yet he does not close his heart down, where you can still feel his body, you can still feel the other chakras, and he's not just coming from his mind fully, right? So how does that feel to you? And talk with us about spirituality and sexuality from a woman's point of view, please.
I really loved that quote. it resonates with me deeply with how I experience men, and it also resonates with how I believe women should practice. We all need barriers. We all need to be able to, if we're in ravaged, ragged, like, you know, that kind of pain I'm talking about, where it's just like, it feels unending. We all need our ways to kind of take a break from that in our heart. But what happens is if we repeatedly close down just one part of our body, just let's say our heart or our stomach or our mind, it makes us kind of close down the rest of us, or it dampens the rest of us. It grays out the rest of our energy. And so when a man is courageous enough to stay open in his heart, and so his energy's open all through his body, through, you know, every single chakra, it is the most wonderful, life-fulfilling experience to be around a person like that, whether you're having sex or whether you're just standing next to them in the grocery line. And I think it's a gift that we can give all people in our lives, to have that kind of presence and that kind of openness.
Oh, thank you so much. That reminds me of a John Wineland clip that you found this morning that speaks about exactly how we can be in our masculine sexual polarity, guys. How we can be in that masculine pull to draw her towards us, to create a vacuum of intimacy and to draw her toward us. And sure, if we're in a place where she doesn't want anything to do with us right now, we may not see immediate reactions to that, but we will see movement through this. And if you're just having a contentious situation, this will allow her the space and the freedom and the draw to step towards you, because it's about creating a vacuum of attractive space and attractive stillness. So I'm going to share this right now from John Wineland of how to create masculine sexual polarity.
First issue is creating sexual polarity in any moment. Okay. So what you're calling your masculine is not really the masculine is in regards to sexual polarity. So doing does not occur to the feminine nervous system as the masculine, sexually. Do you know what I mean?
I understand.
You do, okay. So the masculine sexually is more what we were doing this morning. It's more about presence, breath, feeling wide, feeling consciousness. So let's say this. So she gets on the computer, you finish your thing, she comes out or whatever, you sit down, let's say you sit down on a pillow or whatever you do in here, and you meditate. And you're just breathing, filling your body with breath, resting is consciousness, filling the house with your consciousness, right? Like literally, like we did the room, I said press it out, right? And you're just feeling her at the computer. You've now taken the masculine pole. So if you stay there long enough, might be 5 minutes, might be half an hour, she will turn, right? But if she's doing this and you come up and you get kind of triggered emotionally, irritated, yeah, now you're in your feminine and she's in her masculine.
Because that's a lot of time, this is what happens.
Got it. Yes, yeah, and she won't want to fuck you.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, won't want to fuck you. So she's on purpose, let's call it. She's single-minded focused, which yeah, it's her masculine, right? I've got shit to do, right? The masculine, most of our masculine is don't bother me, I got shit to do. Anybody relate to that? Right? Don't bother me, I got shit to do. That's kind of our lower level masculine. David would call this a first stage masculine, right? Second stage masculine is about like, you know, I got shit to do, you got shit to do, how are we working this out, honey? Right? Like, how are we working this out? Like, you know, and we'll be in a dialogue about it. So, third stage masculine, can approach this a different way. Sacred masculine, I would call it, right? Literally, by taking the masculine pole, who holds the deepest consciousness and the deepest breath is holding the masculine pole. Period. Now, most of us will not hold it long enough to evoke a feminine out of her masculine, right? So we'll try it for 2 or 3 minutes and fucking shit, fucking bitch, right, and we won't hold it. But I guarantee if you take a day or two and you just focus on your own depth and consciousness and breath, she will come to you, and she will more than likely come to you heart open. I would try that first. So that's one way to go about it. If she's masculine or on purpose, you have to out-masculine her by being a deeper consciousness and a deeper breath and stiller, more still. So she's working in the other room and she walks in to get a cup of tea or whatever, and you're just like, truly, not just faking it, but truly resting as consciousness. Not just be like, look how spiritual I am, baby. Isn't this hot? I'm not as sexy. Look how sexy I am. But you're really just accepting. The masculine witnesses what's happening and accepts it, loves it. There's no desire to change, really. There's a desire to serve, open, this kind of thing.
So have any of you experienced this? Or I'd love for Jason to come in as well and share, when you're in your own positive frame, in your own lane, when you're not worried about what she's doing, when you're not trying to manipulate the situation or win brownie points, when you're not irritated with what's going on in the world, when you're on your own purpose and you're in your own frame where she comes to you in a feminine way. Have any of you guys experienced that?
Well, I was gonna give them a chance to chime in too. So I got a chance yesterday to talk with a very open woman that's known me for a while, or known who I was or who I am. We're talking about a situation where I was amongst other men, and when I'm in that situation, I allow myself to focus on what I want to change, and it's more of an evaluated feeling. And she is open enough to let me know how I felt in that situation, which was the undercurrent of shame and almost closing off to that. And I think it's been incredibly opening for the last 24 hours or so. Because what I do know is that when I am opening, especially to the pain, not and the pain, but especially to the pain, that's when people come to me. And it's not just women, it's when I am open to the reality of all that is life, and I'm sitting back and observing that and not judging it. People want to be a part of that, and it's not just men, or not just women, it's men, it's life in general, it's money, it's opportunity, it's all of it. Those places in ourselves that hurt are what life is about to a certain extent, and to accept that is incredibly strengthening. It's not I can't remember who said it, but pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. To open yourself up to that is something that everybody wants, and to be that masculine presence in the world is healing to people, and they want to be closer to that, and it gives them permission to be in pain as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Jason, so good. I love that. It's end the pain, right? You are who you are, and the pain, not, all right, with the pain, you said, I'm sorry, with the pain. So it's, you're in that, and you have the pain as a part of you and moving forward. It's not a separate thing that you're just dealing with or shunning or pretending isn't there, right? You're moving forward with it. I was watching let's see, a video from Michael Neal, who talks about people are drawn to the magic and aliveness and fucking reality of who we are as a person. And we've talked about how the Superman story, that it became boring until they brought in kryptonite, and he actually had a weakness. And then it really launched the comic book series when he was humanized, when we could relate to him with flaws and with, pains and danger in his world. And I also watched another video yesterday about why do we like anti-heroes? So the movie Bad Santa, where the guy's just kind of a belligerent asshole some of the time. He still steals and he swears in front of kids and things like this. But yet he has goodness in his heart, and he shows glimpses of humanity within him, an understanding of his own agenda in this moment, but also cares for the people in certain windows of time. And so why do we care positively? Why do we like the anti-hero, where it's different than the villain? The villain we just don't connect with. We hate him. He's not humanized. And so I would say, Jason, if you don't mind me saying this, that we don't want to villainize the pain and disassociate from it and try to make ourselves perfect like Superman prior to kryptonite. We want to move forward and even be our own fucking anti-hero in the world, because we're not perfect, and trying to pretend that we are disconnects other people from us as well, because we're shunning part of our own self by doing that. Cynthia, I'd love for you to come in and give some feedback on our conversation, especially sexually. So for a woman, when a man is kind of like, let's say, his own anti-hero within my vernacular I'm using right now, and he owns his shit, sometimes it's not perfect, and then he has these amazing glimpses of humanity and mission and purpose in the world. How does that hit a woman sexually when he doesn't think that he's fucking perfect, but he owns his own mission in the world? How does that hit a woman, please?
Well, yeah, I feel like that energy comes out a lot in sexual interactions. And I really have experienced being with partners where they were trying to hold back parts of themselves or keep some parts shut down, and like I can keep my heart shut down, but my groin can be open, and it ends up you don't feel like you get to truly be with the person, and there's a lot of like heavy baggage there with you in that situation with the person. And I've ended up feeling a kind of like shame and embarrassment in those moments, whereas being around gentlemen who are like, this does not have to be perfect, and he's owning like all parts of himself, and it's not like life is just this one like level and I've reached it and now I'm just gonna like coast. He's continually like moving forward in his journey. That's, to me, the magnetizing force, the turn on, that is just so much joy and excitement to be around, and relief. I think when we're blocking and trying to shut off parts of ourselves, the people around us, they feel that, and it's a lot of stuff to carry. Whereas when we're open, no one has to carry our stuff. We're like, I'm on this journey, let's go.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, go ahead, Jason. Ruben, I see you raised your hand. I'll get to you in a moment. And Brett made a great comment as well, I want to say. But Jason, go for it.
So I don't remember which Alison Armstrong program I was involved with. If it was In Sync with the Opposite Sex, or if it was The Hero's Journey. And maybe it was both. There's a process she'll go through. She'll have people stand up and share where they are in the moment, share how they feel, and then they get immediate feedback from the crowd on how attractive they are. And we're not talking about physical aesthetics. We're talking about how much do you want to know that person? How much do you want to draw? The people that spoke from an authenticity of a wholeness of themselves, they're the parts that feel enlivening and the parts that feel destructive, and we're open to that, just looked like somebody you wanted to know. And I think I think a lot of what Cynthia was talking about, especially in a sexual situation, is so powerful. Hey, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm bringing all of me. That's so exhilarating to be around somebody like that. And I'll leave it there. That's I just wanted to affirm what I heard Cynthia saying, and to share that our most attractive self is not the perfect part that we want to show.
Yeah, thank you,
It's
Jason.
a lesson for myself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we're all speaking to ourselves here, right? Right, Jason? Totally. Yeah, bringing all of ourself and being aware of her response, being aware, of course, but not saying those things to win brownie points, not saying who we are and then looking to see if she accepts us, not backpedaling if she doesn't like what we just said, owning ourselves and then standing in the pain of that or in the anguish of that, as David Data would say. A superior man is free in action and in feeling amidst great pain and hurt to keep his heart open. So Brett said something about anti-hero. I love this so much, Brett. I like anti-heroes because they prove it's possible to embrace the dark side while still being fundamentally a good person. I fucking love that. Like, yeah, we've got the sword at our side and we've been through shit and we own our own dark side and our shadow, but fundamentally we're a good person in the world. Fundamentally, we're going to stand up for what's right. Right. So Rueben, jump in. I see you have your hand raised. Thank you for being patient. What would you like to add? I'd love it. Please.
I guess what I wanted to add is I've always just sat here and that when Wineland talked about being present in the room, and I always didn't know what I was doing or have an idea, like a roadmap of it. And thank you for the video. That's something that I can do. That I just haven't been showing patience. I can definitely sit there and provide that, space for, attraction by being patient. And that's something that I haven't done in a long time. But years ago, I would hear people tell me like, man, you're really cool and just calm. And I haven't heard that in a long time because I'm so trying to be a busy bee getting everything done. So it was awesome to hear that because I know I have that in me. I just got to pull it back out.
Oh my gosh. So awesome, Rueben. I love it. Fantastic, buddy. I'm going to press pause on you. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it so much. Yeah, that reminds me. So 30-second commercial, right, for our small group, our men's group forum that we're going to launch, our men's group coaching, small group coaching that we're going to launch here in 3 weeks. It's already half full. It's economical and powerful. And this is one topic we're going to really dive into over the 6 months we're going to work together, is how to bring out that sexual power that you have as a man with these simple tools such as being present and in depth and in breadth and creating that vacuum to bring her towards you. Cynthia and I and Jason and Andy are going to be guest coaches in there as well. Cynthia and I are going to lead how to draw her in. Either it's your ex or your current separated spouse or the next woman in your life or just the fucking feminine in your life at all. If you feel right now you don't have any feminine around you at all in any capacity, whether it's even going to the grocery store, you can do this in a way where you feel bathed by feminine in your life, regardless if you have, backflip blowjobs off the chandelier right now. So Cynthia, please come in and share, what are you excited about as far as sexuality specifically to bring into our small group coaching?
Well, I loved what you just said, Jeff, about, bathed in feminine energy and getting to welcome that in wherever you are in your life. That's what you deserve. And to me, that's the highest honoring. That's the highest honoring to me as a woman, to be, bathed in masculine energy. And it's the highest honoring for, a man to get to receive the feminine in that way. And so whatever bathing is to you in your area of life, that's what I'm most excited by, whether it's level 1 or level 100. That's that's the magic of things, and that's the color and the excitement and the sweetness I think we all deserve in life amongst the to-dos and the regular day stuff.
Yeah, I so agree. And I'll share at the end of the show the link. Otherwise, Cynthia, if you can honor Hans's post just then, he just posted right now, I'm going to share a 1-minute clip from Jordan Peterson about living your truth, guys. So, okay, it's like, that's great, guys. Okay. But here's where I'm at right now. What the fuck? Okay. So that's kind of where I was back in like 20. It's like, okay, that sounds good, but fuck. So here's 1 minute from Jordan Peterson of how to live your truth and let the chips fall where they may. This is the tip of the iceberg. And I love where Jordan Peterson is taking us here. Here we go.
I say never be complete. I say stop being perfect. I say let's evolve. Let the chips fall where they may.
What I'm trying to do is to say what I think as clearly as I possibly can, and to listen to the feedback and modify my message when that seems to be necessary. And apart from that, I'm willing to let the chips fall where they will, because that's also part of the decision. The decision is that if you believe, if you choose to believe, if you choose to act as if the truth brings being into existence in the best possible manner, then you speak your truth, you examine your conscience, you listen to feedback, and you allow the events to unfold as they will. And I am trying to do that. That's what I'm attempting to do.
So you listen to your conscience, you think about your value, what you want to bring unabashedly into the world, and then you speak your truth and you move forward in the world in that way. And that's the best that we can do, even if we're the anti-hero in this moment, even if we're embracing our darkness, right, our shadow. Cynthia, I'd love for you to honor Hans's post, please.
Yes, thank you. So Hans, I was going to skip down to kind of the center of his post. He said, I definitely shut out people from an emotional, spiritual level. And Hans, I can definitely resonate with that. When I realized I had to open that up, it was hard to handle. Emotions spun wildly, felt overwhelmed spiritually. I think it's starting to open things up with my wife, though. Certainly equips me to handle the criticisms and the loneliness. I feel like a more honest, open person and an actual human.
Wait a minute. You're an actual human? We can actually be a human, Cynthia? Is that what you're saying? We can actually be human and women still want us?
God, I hope so. Otherwise, I'm in trouble.
Holy shit. Yeah, holy shit. So we've got a couple minutes left. I want to squeeze in the next piece of Mark Manson's video about, does success make you happy? So Mark Manson is incredibly successful with his book, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And he gives us some down-to-earth, sometimes a little cynical view of, does sex makes us happy? Does sex make us happy? That's a different question. But does success make us happy? And how can we perceive the relative success in our life? Does success make you happy?
You know, like when my first book took off, it sold so many more copies. It was so much more successful than I think anybody expected, especially myself, that at first there was kind of just this elation. There was like this euphoria and joy. And like, oh my God, I fucking did it. And that lasted for like a month, I would say, you know, and that's a pretty good amount of time. But then it didn't actually solve any problems. Like all the problems, they just kind of evolved and morphed into new forms of the same old problems, you know? So it's like, whereas before I was like super anxious about selling any books, now I was super anxious about whether my book would continue to sell or not. And before I would be anxious whether my blog readers liked me, and now I was anxious that my book readers liked me. And before I was anxious or worried that Facebook would change its algorithm and my business plan would fall apart. Now I worry that Amazon's going to change its algorithm and my writing career will fall apart. And so it's like nothing on an emotional level, nothing actually changes. I'm still this like ball of anxiety and a neurotic mess, but it's just like, it's like the wallpaper changes, you know, it's like it's the same emotional interior, just with a much nicer, fancier wallpaper in the background. Now I have new goals, and I have new dreams, and I have new challenges. And I think what I just try to remind myself is that this is all a little bit of a game that my brain is playing with itself, you know, so I have goals with a new project, maybe with this YouTube channel, or, you know, I'm talking to people about doing a documentary, you know, so there's like new dreams, new visions of like what I want for my future. But what I'm trying to do is, instead of getting attached to that and like believing that like that will solve whatever anxiety or stress that I'm feeling, I just try to remember that that is just it's a part of the game that my brain is playing with itself. You know, your mind is always dangling this carrot in front of your face, and even if you catch the carrot, they'll just drop another one a little bit further out. And like, that is kind of human progress in a nutshell. This sounds so fucking cynical and dark, but I mean, it's true.
Human progress. It's like grabbing that next carrot and another one falls a little bit farther. It's true. I love Mark Manson's, you know, cynical aspect on life, more like fucking real, owning our dark side, being the anti-hero in your own life, and moving forward in a positive way with that positive frame of mind in the world, and being that true self in front of your woman, in front of your own self in the mirror, and in front of your community and your family. Cynthia, if you help me honor our men today, we'll close our show for today.
Thank you so much for this conversation. And Jason, thank you for what you shared so very much. And Rueben, thank you for your story. And the chat that was going on, it was great to have Andy in here. Thank you. And Hans for participating. Dave, I saw your comment, and Harry, I appreciate your resonance with knowing what it's like to withdraw in uncomfortable situations. Thank you all so much. And Jeff, you asked me, you're like, oh wait, men are allowed to be human, and that will be, you know, okay with women. And I want to tell you that your humanness is your attractiveness, and your openness and your sourcing of yourself is your attractiveness. And it is a gift to be in front of this group of men who are continually in a place of opening and then spearhead forward into the world. So thank you so very, very much. Bye.
We will see you tomorrow, Friday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, or 5 a.m. The next day in New Zealand for Patrick. Otherwise, we've got guys here from Spain and guys all over the United States. Love you so much. See you tomorrow. Ciao.
I'ma tell you about a woman who's cold as tundra with some frozen eyes. I can tell by the way she moves that she cares, and it's lovely.